to do this. You gotta do that. If you don't, then it's doghouse you go or bench you go. Like, dude, I mean, let these guys be themselves. Some of them just need reps. Like, I'm starting to see it. Like, if they can't do what you do, if they can't do what you want them to do, then it's like you messed up. So I don't know.
Well, to that point, he's the coach. This is his team. He's going to want guys to do what he's kind of scheming them to do. I mean, if you just kind of, like you said, get the reps, it's going to turn into the kind of the inmates running the asylum.
I just feel like his players not having fun anymore. Like when he first got in, he was just trying to acclimate himself. You seen the fun the players were having, and now it's like it feels stuffy in a way. Like just have a stuffy nose. You can't breathe no more. You don't want to. It's like now you're fighting just to have fun, like just to remember how to play the game. I don't know. It makes it feel like you don't know what you're doing. That's kind of how I take it. If I was to play for Shanny and knowing that I've been doing certain things my whole career, and now I get to you, it's like you don't know what you're doing at all. Like, dude, feels like he breaks you down mentally first before he does physically.
Well, yeah, I mean, Brandon, Ayuk did a couple of podcasts and interviews this month, and he did talk about how he now looks back and says, looking at how some of the young wide receivers come in and don't know what's expected of them. And he says the way Shanahan does things is they never give you everything at once. It's like they give you an assignment, they see if you can complete it. Once you complete that piece, you move on to the next assignment. And he said when he first came into the league, he didn't understand it. He felt picked on. He felt, like in a way, like Shanahan was just being a jerk. But then he later realized what the big picture was. So I can see why certain players can think that, or like feel that way. But I guess like Ayuk, it just really depends on what you make of it. Either just Shanahan's a big dick, or he makes you better.
Yeah, I mean, look, in Ayuk's situation, I mean, it made him a phenomenal player. The guy is going to be a top receiver this season. Like everyone, get him on your fantasy if you can, because he he's he's doing it all. It's I think the
So
biggest thing that guys have to acclimate to when they get on this team is he wants everybody to be able to block. If you're not willing to block, he doesn't want you.
So if you believe if Ayuk was with anybody else, he wouldn't have been who he is now.
I think it made him
I mean, I
stronger.
understand. I
I
understand what
think
he said, but I'm asking us right now. Do you not
I think
believe he would have been still Ayuk?
he had the talent. He was good in college. He had the talent, but I don't think he would be what he is right now on another team.
Like Cam Latu, for example, what was the purpose of picking him up? Did we not have capable
We were
backup
talking
tight ends that could do the job?
we were talking about him a little earlier if he hopped on, and it's we believe it's a Kittle thing. That was a Kittle pick.
See, that's another example of players having too much control in the locker room versus the coach.
That is one thing that there's a lot of talk that goes around is does Shanny have his boys? Is there like a frat club mentality to this team? You got the boys that go to Cabo and you got the guys that don't. Is there some kind of like hazing or just like you if you're one of the boys you're in and if you're not you're kind of like on the outside looking in kind of thing.
I, if that's the case, that's bad. That's
Yeah,
not
I
good.
agree.
That
I agree.
that is not good locker room culture. And from what I've heard, they have great culture.
Yeah.
So I can see why people would say like people like Kittle and even when Staley was around and Juice, those are all Kyle guys. And even maybe even Debo. And then you have guys like Ayuk who are not Kyle guys. Jennings not a Kyle guy. So I don't know. What do you think, Mav? You think there's
I mean,
clicks? You
let's
think
look.
there's a A good old boys club in Cabo?
I feel like it is a good old boys club in Cabo. I mean, you look at the Chiefs. Do we hear anything bad? Do we hear anything about that locker room? I mean, let's be real. Let's be honest. And they've won the Super Bowl how many times now since Kyle's been in the league? Same quarterback, same coach.
Okay, but okay, to that point, we've got a core that's been together a very long time. You look at the Chiefs, and if you're not Mahomes or Kelsey, you're expendable. They're
But
just
I mean, as far as like the noise, the locker room talk that we hear, like we're talking right now, I feel like the 49ers locker room runs the team versus the coach that runs the team.
but it's also they've got a reputation of a team that people want to play for. If there was a bad vibe coming from that locker room, people wouldn't want to be coming here to play.
Mav, do you think Trey Lance fit into the 49ers locker room? Do you
Honestly,
think
I
he
don't.
was fully embraced?
No, he wasn't. Because I mean, based on what I heard earlier about him running better with the third team, if you look at what the third team has, yeah, it could have been against whatever 13, 14 defense or whatever, but still, if you look at the type of players that they have, like Tay Martin, for example, that he's been practicing with all off season, he built a rapport with him. It's kind of like those are the kind of players he needs to be around. The players that matches his skill set, not someone that, not players that he has to come in match their skill set. If I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, you're making perfect sense, but that's what we always fall back to. Like when you run a comparison of how Andy Reid runs his stuff and how he scouts players versus Kyle and his system and how he scouts players. Andy Reid started where Kyle was. Andy Reid
Right.
started with this is my system, this is how it works. If you don't like it, hit the road. And that didn't work for him in Philadelphia. He got really close a lot. And now there's a new Andy Reid. Now Kyle's in this spot. We look at Kyle. Kyle finds players who are specifically good at a certain skill set for his system. And you're absolutely right about that. Kyle believes you do what I tell you, it's going to work. And that's great until you get punched in the mouth and then your system falls apart.
And
So, I
then
mean,
what?
you do have a valid point because that's what happens. That's what tends to happen with us. It's like we get figured out somehow in a game, we get punched in the mouth, and then we don't know what the fuck to do. So yeah, that's a valid critique. Can he ad hoc or can he ad lib during a game? But to the point of the way he looks at players and not letting them be who they are, he's specifically recruiting you to be in his system. So that's he's setting that expectation when he brings you on. Even when he interviews you, you shouldn't have an issue with that.
I mean, it's not so much an issue. It's more like I'm starting to become getting this more disappointed by year in, year out. Because it was a great system that the whole league believed in to the point to where it started being picked up by other teams, and like you said, it's getting figured out. So it's time to switch up something. You don't have to change your whole scheme, but you got to bring something new. You can't still be the Atlanta Falcons Kyle that made it to the Super Bowl and blew it up. You can't be the same Kyle that went and picked up Jimmy that made it to the Super Bowl and crash landed. No, we got to switch up something. Difference between Andy Reid and Kyle to me is that Andy never really had to go through all the headache of finding a franchise QB. Kyle still has to find one yet.
Well, if you listen to what he said this week, Purdy's it. He called Purdy him.
Man, he can
Have you
say
ever
that
heard?
all day long. Purdy's
Have you
not
ever
in
heard
until
Kyle?
Purdy. I'm sorry, but I'm running with Purdy, but Purdy is not no real deal until he shows me that he can make it. That hey, Kyle, I got your back. Here's your trophy that you've been coaching so hard for. I got it, Mister Irrelevant. Got it for you. Then you know what, Kyle? I got you. I respect that. You called it from the very beginning, and you were right. But until then, no, bro. He's just another guy that's trying to make you look good.
But
Save your job for another year.
all these years that he's been our coach, he's been trying to find the quarterback that connects with him in his system. We can agree with that. Who's to argue that he has not found that in Purdy? I mean, I still think back to last season when, in the midst of all this Purdy mania, there was that shot in the locker room where him and Kyle were sitting in the locker room together. I have not seen Kyle do that with any of his quarterbacks. Like there's a connection there, and when you find that coach quarterback connection, it's undeniable.
That's true.
Like
Okay,
he might not have the skill set of Mahomes, but if he's got that connection with Kyle in this system, sky's the limit for the kid.
here's another thing too. I feel like there's even more added pressure to Brock Purdy for the simple fact that last year no
Pressure,
one really knew what he was. Huh?
pressure is on this season, no doubt. He's got
I mean, dude, it's added pressure. It's not just pressure; it's added pressure. You cannot compare this young kid to Joe Montana too quick. Please, don't throw that baggage on him too.
I
That's too early. So
do you
now we
think
have an expectation higher than what we had for him last year. After the team already got 8 games of simple size against him and Ken figuring him out. I mean, the man almost threw picks all last year. He just got away with them. He got saved. Let's be honest.
Okay, Mab, I get it. Let's not compare him to Joe. All right, we can't compare him to Joe. We can't compare him to Hall of Fame Super Bowl Joe Montana. We know that
Yeah,
he's the
let's
GOAT.
not do that yet.
We can't do that. Can we compare him to a young Joe Montana who threw a lot of interceptions and had a weak ass arm?
Honestly, I don't want to compare him to anybody. I want him to just be Purdy, go out there and play your game because
Okay,
the
let's
expectations
compare
get
his
too high.
let's compare his
I
physical
get that.
skill set.
He's Purdy. He's the
Right.
only Brock Purdy. But you can't argue the fact that if you compare how he plays and his style, it's very reminiscent of Montana.
Okay, no, that's fine. But is it Montana? Is Montana the only quarterback that he's reminiscent of?
Well, the only reason that people are bringing that up is because Montana was a Niner.
I know,
So
but let's
that
look at the
quarterback.
rest of these quarterbacks.
But I also
Who
believe
are
that
you bumping up against him, Mav?
You know what? That I should have looked that up before I asked that question. I apologize for that, but I'm pretty sure Montana's not the only quarterback out there that has those similar stats and who actually, I'm not saying Hall of Fame, but got close to it or was on
Okay.
that level.
Finish your thought, Mike. I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you saying?
yeah, no worries. I'm just saying that I think Purdy's got the mindset too, where he's not going to listen to all this noise. This is just content creators out there just trying to make their content, get their clicks, and make their money. I guarantee that Purdy's not hearing this and going, "Yeah, you know what? I am the next Montana." No, he's going to go out there. He's going to do what he wants to do what he has to do with the poise and grace that we've seen, and hopefully take this team somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the problem I have. See, Mav, because like there's fans out there who are knocking on Purdy because doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the fastest guy. He doesn't look like Cam Newton or a big transformer. They want the biggest, fastest, tallest guy. In their opinion, that's not going to win them the Super Bowl. What they're not measuring is his poise. And I'm like I said, I'm not trying to bump him against Montana or compare him to Montana, but if you look at his arm strength, it's the same. His accuracy, it's the same. He has a really catchable ball, just like Joe Montana. His ball placement, it's the same. His movement and his elusiveness in the pocket, it's the same. Montana
True.
was not a mobile guy. He was elusive. He knew if you look at his feet work, it's really smooth. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't discount. I think we talked about this all the time. The scale for quarterbacks in the NFL, people got it wrong. And Purdy is a prime example. They're trying to find the biggest, fastest, strongest quarterback, and that's not it.
Like
That's not who wins championships.
if Montana was coming up through the system right now, he wouldn't even be looked at.
The last 26 winning Super Bowl quarterbacks were non-mobile. I think the most mobile was Russell Wilson and Ben Roethlisberger. Other than that, it's been Brady, Manning, pocket passers, Breeze, even Stafford. That's why I don't get that argument. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Like, if to me personally, bro, I would have been more inclined to put him on a pedestal with Steve Young because they're closer in decades than Montana is in so many ways. Montana is what 80s, 90s. The game was way different. Montana, I really don't believe would even survive in today's game. Let's be honest. You believe he would? Do you
I
believe
think
Joe Montana would have been Joe Montana in today's game? Because I believe he was born specifically for that decade.
why not? I think his skills translate, especially in that offense. If you look, dude, if you go back and you watch 49er highlights, they're running the exact same system we're running now. And it works.
Players are faster. Players are stronger. Players are more agile than what they were back in the 90s.
Yeah, but this, I don't know. I think it would translate. I really do. Why don't you think it will? Because he he's skinny or what? I don't know.
I felt like Montana was born in the right era to play football. Like Purdy is born in the right era to play football. It's like everybody has their era. Some people, I guess, some players could have been before their time, and I guess you could say, oh, they're past their time.
So, what I am curious
Am I
to
making
ask
sense
you,
to you right
man,
now?
what's up?
Am I making sense to you though? I mean,
No,
I,
you
I
are. You
feel
are making sense. But I do think that it does translate, though. I still think it does. I think Purdy, even if you put Purdy in the 1980s, I think he'd still be a good quarterback. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't think a good pocket passer ever goes extinct. I mean, if you
it.
can sling
It
the ball,
doesn't.
you can sling the ball.
You can. And I mean, especially when you have a spread offense or a West Coast offense, it keeps a mobile core. I mean, it keeps a pocket passer um throw the ball. But have we seen in the past decade that all these teams going to more spread offense and they expect their quarterback to roll out a little bit more than what the West Coast really needs you to? I just don't see it. I feel like Steve Young would have been a way more highlight. I feel like Steve Young would have been Joe Montana in this decade than what Joe Montana would have been. Joe Montana would have probably been Steve Young in this decade, in so many words.
What up, Drewski?
What up? What up?
What up? We
What
talking
up?
Joe Montana. We're talking Purdy.
We talking Purdy?
We're talking Purdy. Shit, what we talking about, man?
Tight ends, Purdy, Joe Montana comparison.
That's a
The
little early.
pressure.
That's a little early.
Skill
I
set.
mean, I feel like Purdy's in a stovetop right now, but he's in a pressure cooker. That lid for the pop off towards the end of the season.
What up, Mikey?
Hey, Drew.
What up?
What you say, Mike?
What up, Mike? Mike, that was a little too calm for me. I don't like that one. Where is the hype, Mike? He was hey, Drew. Mike.
Just listen to Mav right now. Listen to Mav.
All right.
Mav. So
What's
I
up?
don't know. I think it does translate. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't translate, but it's just how well would it translate? You know,
Yeah.
I guess that'll be the stalemate that we are. How well or how bad would it? You know, how good of a translation it would be.
Well, since you guys are wrong, let's loop back to Nick Bosa because me and Mike covered it earlier.
Yeah, we talked about this.
We'll get back to QBs.
I seem to be the only one a little worried.
Are y'all worried at all with Nick Bosa not coming to camp, or what do you guys think?
Not yet. Not yet.
Till when?
Yeah,
I think they
I'm
just
not worried
saving him for
about
the
it.
season.
He's chilling. He's
But
rested.
Yeah, I think they saving him for the season.
but I did question myself though. Would the Bosa brothers ever play one year with each other? If so, where?
San Francisco.
I was about to say that. I think with us,
You
but
see Bosa rocking
that's
the
gonna come.
Niners jersey to the game,
That's
Joey.
gonna
He
come
was
with a
all in the Niners.
sacrifice. That's gonna come with a sacrifice if that happens.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all that now. It's
Some
But
definitely
would
gonna
it be
come with
if it
a
did happen? Would it be too late?
like now. You think it'll be too late for
Yeah,
them? Okay. So are you asking like when is it too late, or would it be too late for it to do it now?
yeah. I mean, when would it be too late?
So
Um,
realistically, the first chance for it to happen is when Joey's contract is up. In what, 3
Which
years?
is
But he's on year 3 of his 5-year deal with the Chargers, I think. When did he get his contract?
2 years
I
ago.
2 years
believe.
ago. I was about to say I think two
Yeah,
years
I
ago.
believe it's third year.
He's in year 3.
Oh,
So
you showing them the-
I don't know. Do you guys think we have something with Cleveland Farrell, or is just all smoke? Because they saying he's dominating, and he was a
I
former
think
first round draft pick. So
Yeah, but I'm listen. It might be true. He was a former first round draft pick, and you didn't see much with him. But look what team he was on. When you have somebody like we have a line that complements each other. So each one is going to complement the next person beside him. So if one person's taking the pressure off, and he was good in college, and when he played at Clemson, and then he comes into a better set where he doesn't have to have the pressure on himself, he might be just a good distraction. Like he sits next to a Bosa type player, he's on the inside, and he's like, okay, you're going to watch Bosa. And then you got a power guy who can come up through the middle like that. Or you're going to watch Drake out there if he's out there, and you got, they're going to complement each other. So he may be something different at our team. We have a better line to show that. Raiders going to Raider. I mean, this is what it is.
so they said Raiders actually held their own today.
if Bosa is in that lineup today, does Jimmy walk down the field and do what he do?
No, because we talking about practice,
What
man.
did he do? What did he do, man? What did Jimmy do today?
Apparently, he walked down the field. He drove down the field on the Niners' first team defense and scored.
And what you got to say about that, Mav?
I don't know. I mean, I said it earlier. Did the Raiders get college Jimmy?
Yeah.
yeah, I don't even think it's that. I said it earlier before you guys got on. We've seen this from Jimmy. He's good to do this once every couple games. So tomorrow he's going to be due to throw 4 interceptions.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. We've seen him do it. But okay, we've seen college Jimmy and we've seen porn star Jimmy. Porn star Jimmy is the Jimmy that played for the 49ers. He didn't really give a damn. He smiled every time he messed up. He was just like, it is what it is. But college Jimmy, run. We seen it. We watched the
Yeah,
highlights, and
he
this
looked pretty
dude
damn
looked
good.
like he actually was having fun, throwing dimes. Like, dude, why couldn't we get this Jimmy on the Niners?
Because that Jimmy lost his confidence sitting behind a Tom Brady for what 2-3 years.
No, well, see, that goes back to my question earlier, though. I mean,
Here
Kyle
we go.
draft players that fits his system or supposed to, but if you don't, it's like I feel like he kind of damaged you a little bit.
All right, just for the record, we didn't draft Jimmy. They traded for him, so let's make sure that's
That
clear.
that's true. That's
The other
true.
thing is, do you have eyes on Jimmy this season, Mav, to prove a point?
I,
So we can just go
I
ahead and get
have.
that out of the way now.
Do I have eyes? I have been keeping up with what's going on because of this first game coming up.
See, Mike, we can't have Jimmy do well because Mav over here we're never gonna hear the end of it.
Oh no.
How Kyle damages people.
Listen.
Yeah.
What did I say earlier? We're gonna have those same ones. If Jimmy does good, we're all about to hear it. See, we shouldn't have traded Jimmy. See, this is, and I'm gonna tell them. See, this is preseason. See, this
Oh
is
no, no, no.
practice.
See, I'm not gonna go. I'm
See,
not gonna go to that extent that we shouldn't have traded Jimmy. He was a headache that needed to go. My whole thing is, dude, Kyle, do you actually let these players be themselves and trying to coach them and teach them your ways, or Is it like it's my way or the highway? Point blank. You got to do what I say. Point blank. Like with Kyle is a dictatorship. Point
Okay,
blank.
so what other position has Kyle ruined? I guess we can say. Are you considering Ayuk like a Kyle problem? Like he damaged. Where is the other example besides like the quarterback position where you
Okay,
feel
I
Kyle's
would
not
touch
getting it right?
I would touch IU for a bit, just a little bit, because of the whole doghouse situation. Like that's when I first really started noticing it. Um, he gets all these running backs that can't really stay healthy, and he picks them up way too early. Um, what else can I say? Defense is going to be very interesting this year because I felt like he had a lot to say with the defense between who's that Salah and Ryan. So it's kind of like I feel like there's a lot of heads going to be bumped this year, but we're going to make it through though.
So if Jimmy does well this year, Mav, I mean, is that like an indictment on Kyle? Then is that what you're saying,
If Jimmy does
or
well
on our
this year,
system?
it's not a full indictment on Kyle because I mean the system. I looked at it as well. Like, dude, is the system a little too complicated for these guys? I mean, or is he making the system more complicated than what it has to be?
What if Jimmy stays healthy?
That's another one too.
That it'll be a shocker. First of all, if he
Well,
stays
not really
healthy,
a shocker. I mean, we've seen
he,
Jimmy
he
healthy for a whole season before.
We've seen
yeah,
him
but he
healthy
came
before.
into the Raiders with an issue, and that wasn't even the same issue he left us with. And they was talking about. Remember, he almost didn't even pass his physical because they was sitting there talking about he had an injury issue. So I mean, really, like I don't, I don't. Like I said before, when he was on our team, I think it's going to be an overrated season, and it's only going to sound good and look good because of the team that he's on. So
I got a
Is it
question.
because he's on the Raiders?
yeah, any big thing that happens,
I got a question. When the last time Jared McKinnon was injured?
when the last time what?
Jared McKinnon was injured.
Mav, you can't put that on Kyle, Mav.
I'm not, but it's not so much
Mav,
that I
come
am
on,
putting it
bro.
on him. It's the injury thing, bro. I mean, players get injured, they leave, and they stay healthy for a season or two.
Hey, you know who left and didn't stay healthy?
Who?
Mostert with your boy
Okay.
McDaniels.
And Wilson.
Yeah, they
I
both got
didn't hey, listen. I didn't mention those two
hurt.
for a reason, Mike.
What?
Well,
I
no,
didn't mention those two for a reason. Why
Mav,
you
you
bringing them
gotta
up?
show. Hey, you gotta paint a clear
That's
picture.
old, man. Stop bringing up old shit.
It's because you're trying to spin your own narrative.
No, but seriously though, I mean, like as soon as them guys start playing, the first 3 weeks, injuries, injuries, injuries. Like, dude,
Hold up,
what is
Mav.
going
Can we at
on? I
least
do
get to the
practice.
season? Because if Jimmy goes out game 2, we're gonna look back and be like, Mav, you wasted a whole hour talking about nonsense. But I do want to talk to you about this, Mav.
Hmm.
Jimmy Garoppolo said that despite what was reported about his injury last year, he pushed to play. He was pushing to play in the NFC Championship and he was pushing to play in the Super Bowl. Previously reported he wasn't trying to play, or there was like a rip between him and Kyle because they said Jimmy wasn't making himself available. So Jimmy came out and cleared that up and said that wasn't the case. The reason why he had to have surgery with the Raiders was because he pushed himself too fast and too far. One, do you buy that from Jimmy Garoppolo, or do you stick to the original story that he was holding himself out of the game?
I mean, I can buy it to an extent because he's an athlete, but I've never really heard anywhere besides that moment right now that you just said that he's tried to push back, come back, and they just shut him down. That's it's a little hard to swallow right here when it comes from Jimmy's mouth, but I mean, I can buy it to an extent.
The other thing Jimmy said was he was taken aback by Kyle's blunt remarks about his possibility of returning to the 49ers when he said, I don't see a possibility of that happening. No. So Jimmy was a little bit butthurt about that. So I'm curious to see, just like you are, how Jimmy does this year, because I told Mike earlier, I think the noise is going to be really loud if Jimmy has a really good season.
Oh yeah,
So that's
I
interesting.
feel the same.
Yeah,
I feel the same
yeah,
way.
it's going to play out. I'm curious to see. Well, fellas, me and Mikey been on for a while. We got any other topics before we wrap up?
Well,
I know
Nah,
y'all
besides
joined late
just
and
them.
shit, but
what about kickers really quick here?
yeah, let's do it.
Hey, Moody looked good to me.
Yep.
But Gonzalez ain't looking bad. Do you think we flip him?
Yep.
What they missed like 1 or 2 field goals between each other all practice.
Has Moody missed?
I don't
No.
know, but I
One
see
of them
Moody
missed.
kicking 60.
Bro, he made 2 from 60, I heard.
Woo! Hey,
Damn.
that's what the Michigan boys do. Ain't that right, man?
What's up?
That's what the Michigan boys do.
Hey, yo, so
Oh
you mean to
man,
tell me our offense only needs to drive to the 50 every time to kick a field goal? That'll be
Hey,
cheating, bro.
we
We'll
got
never
it.
play.
I,
Owls over the
let's
head of
drive
it,
it to
man.
the
You see
40.
that?
Let's drive it to the 40.
To the no. Bro, so that means realistically, if the 49ers drive to the 40 or the 50, we don't even got to punt. We can just go for the field goal. If he's that
No,
clutch.
I think we better at the 40 or something like that. That gives us a better chance.
Well, yeah, it'll be the 53 is
17.
his is
Yeah.
yeah, the 53 is his max. So you'd have to be from the 50 or the
It,
47 of the other of.
is it not 17 yards back from the line of scrimmage?
Yeah. So that's 67. Yeah.
So yeah, just right around 60.
Yeah, so far, I mean, he was a high draft pick. It's paying off. I know a lot of people were knocking on that pick, so take that, because I wasn't one of them. I liked the
I
pick.
mean,
I know it was risky, but
now since you guys want to compare quarterbacks, is Moody the next Sebastian Janikowski?
sheesh.
I mean, and my boy had a leg. He lasted a long time.
Bro, are we gonna have an all-pro punter too?
Dude, let's just put it this way: Niners are all pro, bro. That's pretty much all that's on the team right
The
now. Is
whole
all pro
squad was
players.
in the top 100. It seemed like, didn't y'all?
We
That's
had
what
we
it
had
looked like.
we had 8 players in the top 100. I think we had 4 players in the top 20.
Right, that's insane.
That's because we them boys, not the Cowboys. We the
Oso
boys.
was literally the 4th best player ranked in the league.
Hey, and why they keep putting Parsons up between this man? If they don't stop this comparison, I've been so tired of that all year.
Where did Parsons end up?
Was Parsons even on the list?
I think he was, but not
Oh,
4.
yes, he is.
Hey, please don't tell me Parsons was in the top 10. I'm gonna be so mad.
No, he wasn't.
You looking it up now?
Yeah. Hey, Mike. So what's going on with this? Is this for reals? The petition for Grant Cohn to get?
Yeah, so some guy on Twitter. I should see who he is, but he started a petition page to get Grant Cohn taken off the Niners reporting squad.
Wow.
So hold on. So the season's starting. Mike, are we going back to Grant rants? I need my Grant rants.
Yeah. He's on Mav's side this year. His whole spiel this year is that Shanny should be fired.
Is he really? I haven't watched him lately. I just been following what he's been saying about the camp and stuff like that.
He's been on a Shanny. He blames Shanny for all the injuries.
I seen that. I did see that.
Are we worried about Sturdy Purdy's interceptions? Is he an interception machine?
Practice. Once again, I say we talking about practice. This where listen. When you play, practice is where you figure out what's going on, what's right, what's wrong. You're going to do your mistakes. It comes to game time. I can throw 5 interceptions in practice. when I get to that game field, I'm gonna know all my mistakes that I got to get them 5 interceptions, and I'm gonna fix them all by game time because
Do you
now you
think
know it really counts. I can have room to mess up in practice. It's practice, man.
Do you think Purdy should play in the preseason?
No,
No, you don't think he should play any preseason at all?
I think he should
no.
play the last game.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can go with that. But but other than that,
At least one
no.
quarter for the last game.
I don't know. I'm kind of concerned about those picks because they can easily be pick sixes every game.
If he throws one every game, okay. We all watched the season last year. How many picks did he throw when he came out?
It doesn't matter
How many was dropped?
How many should have been interceptions?
Right. He had a few against the Dolphins, and he was really bad against the Seahawks.
Raiders.
Raiders, he got really lucky.
Okay. So, all right. So look, I'll put it like this: the fact that everybody's saying Trey is doing good, TJ roots for Donald, I don't know for what reason, and if you has a mistake, this is what we got these quarterbacks for. Trey's coming up, so basically you give Purdy his chance. I would not start him in preseason because he is still projected our starter. So let him get out there in the field. We play Pittsburgh. See what he does against Pittsburgh. He has an off and on. Give him another game. That's when that second game comes, is when you see either, all right, this is what our season's going to look like, and he's throwing interceptions consistently, or he's going to do better. You can see him progress better, and we'll be all right. But either way, I feel like even with Lance coming up, I think we're not in trouble at all. I don't see a quarterback issue. But that's just me. I could be being biased because it's my squad, but I don't see a quarterback issue.
So where's TJ at? Is he gonna come on here and defend himself, or he's just gonna ghost us like he didn't fucking sit
It's
here
all
and
good.
tell
We
us
can still talk all the trash we want to come on text message.
Sam
He
Darnold
see it.
is Sam
He see it. That's all we gotta do.
TJ to the podium, please. We'd like a word.
Yeah, man. Come
If
say
Darnold
Darnold.
if we flip Darnold, TJ needs to come on here and he needs to explain.
He
himself.
does. He
Listen.
better
Always
hold his
listen,
feet to the
fellas.
fire because all the shit he been talking.
All we have to do is go through the text message and start trashing Donald. All of us. And he'll show up.
All of us.
Hey, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to feel like the worst 49ers fan. But if we go and put Darnold in preseason and he throws interceptions, I'm definitely come on there like I'm a fan against somebody. I'm down and down. TJ, Sam Darnold, he was out there seeing ghosts again. I'm going in because, man, he talks about this man like he's going to win us a Super Bowl. This dude ain't won nobody a Super Bowl. He sat bench. Like, I'm like, my point, even when I said it by text, was not really answered. A guy who comes in highly favored, comes from USC. You thought he was going to do all of this. He sat, started, wasn't good. Traded, started, wasn't good. Benched him on another team. Then he comes to us and he's still on the bench. But it's something so high about this guy. He hasn't shown nothing to me. Now, get what I'm saying. So now that we're all talking and it's not a text. Lance has came in. This is his third season. Didn't really get to play his first season. Sat behind Jimmy. Then when he did get a start, got injured. So the ceiling is still high for him because you haven't really got to see him play a healthy season. Now, if he gets injured again, we just find out we got an injury-prone quarterback. But he comes and he's not injured. He plays most of the season and he shows something different. He can have a better ceiling than Darnold. Darnold's already been in the NFL, seen the NFL, seen even starter like on two different teams and ain't proved nothing. You can't down Trey Lance who hasn't had that opportunity. Like Darnold has had that, and you're a bench player. That's it. That's what you're good for. You had a chance to be starters, and you find yourself still back on the bench behind somebody else. That's not. Nah, I'm
Sam
not.
Darnold should have never been drafted in the first round. Sam Darnold should have never been drafted top anything. Sam Darnold has went way
Sam
further
Darnold
than
should have
Sam
been a
Darnold
fourth
should
round
ever.
quarterback.
Exactly.
Oh,
Sam
you got him
Darnold,
fourth?
dude.
Look, the guy's got that.
I'll give him fourth. I'll give him fourth round, bro.
He's got the athletic ability. He just can't process the field.
No, he
That's
can't
the
see
biggest
shit.
downfall. The guy's got a great arm. He's got some ability there. It's just he cannot process the field.
Yeah, he's a good ball thrower. Like Mike says, he just can't see it. If you can't see it, you're no good.
Man,
Don't
if
know
you
what else
gave
to say.
Brock Purdy Darnold's arm, game over.
Right. It is. Straight up.
Look, all I'm saying is this year is this. As a 49er fan, I would love to see the San Francisco 49ers humble themselves this year. Stop going into the season thinking we've already won the damn Super Bowl. Let's be realistic. Let's have fun. Let's play the game how it was supposed to be played. That's all I'm asking. Can they do that for me this year?
They're gonna win
Hey,
you a Super Bowl this year, Mav.
yeah.
What can they do that for me? I feel like the only way they do that is if they humble themselves. Okay, we haven't won it yet. We gotta get it.
They're gonna win it this year, and we're gonna be doing shots of Don Julio at the parade.
I agree with
Let's
Mike.
go. What's up, hey Drew? What's up, man? You gonna join me and Mike in Jacksonville this year or what, bro?
Hey man, I'm trying to make it happen, man. I gotta work out some kinks, but I'm definitely trying to be there. Like I
When's it?
said, I've never been to the
Or
game, so
you come meet up with me and run in Miami.
Yep. I'll be there in
man,
October.
in Miami,
Yes, sir. For a
that sounds like
week.
trouble, man. I gotta stick to the first plan, probably. That sounds like
Yeah.
that sounds like trouble for me, Miami. Now I don't know. I think I gotta stick to the first one.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and wrap it on up. I know we're late out in the East Coast. As always, I
Wait,
appreciate
wait,
y'all.
wait, wait, wait,
Go
wait.
ahead,
But
Dude,
Drewski. Get it
got
in there. Get it in
oh,
there.
I know I gotta exclude Mike from this because I want him to be in this, but I gotta exclude him. Hey
You're gonna
y'all,
talk
college
college
football is
football, aren't
coming
you?
back next summer on a game, and I want to see all y'all there. Let's get it in. It has
Let's
been
do it.
announced.
Let's do it.
I
All right,
want to
y'all.
see
Let's
y'all.
wrap up with final thoughts. What we got? I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna kick it off, and then Mav can wrap up the show. My message this week is everybody on Twitter, stop being yahoos, please. In a real world, you can like both Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. That is absolutely okay. We do it on this show. We do it all the time. Stop treating football like politics. Okay?
Yes.
The division is insane. We can like both guys. They can both be successful. Yes, it can happen. Both things can be true. That's all I got to say. Go ahead, Drewski.
I agree with you 100%. They gotta stop. Also, stop making it a race war. I'm tired of
Yep.
seeing that. I'm tired of seeing I seen a picture of people saying wanting this type of quarterback is like having a picture beside it of the Ku Klux Klan. Stop making this a race war, man. We all fans. It's all different colors. Man, look, it's our team. Just root for them. That's it. We got players we like, we got players we don't like, but it is our team. And at the end of the day, we want to see our team make it in one goal. That's it.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Seriously, guys, this is our team. Cheer for them, no matter who's under QB1. Support it all. Just enjoy this moment. This team's still on a high. We're gonna do some great things this season. The fighting is just ridiculous. Like I can't. It just blows me my mind every fucking day with all the
Yep.
bickering on this in this fan base. But with that said, Jed, hey fucking Bosa so I can stop stressing out.
All right, Money Mav, take us home.
to sum it up, in the words of my co-host here, Niner fans, we need to end this whole split base that we had going on. Get back to being Niner fans. Get back together, and not just the team need to do it, but we need to do it too. We humbled ourselves. Have a great season. Let's go ahead for that Super Bowl, baby. That's what we've been playing for. That's what we want to get it. Let's go. It's time for it.
Yes, sir. Go Niners.
Go Niners.